When you look at role-playing games with active modding communities, RPGs like Skyrim, Fallout, Witcher 3, Baldur's Gate and such all take centre stage. But the Mass Effect trilogy has had a consistently growing modding scene for years, where now there's enough to completely improve and overhaul the experience. And so I'll be making a video for each game showing off the best mods on offer, while also keeping things spoiler free in case it's your first time. Now before looking into individual mods, I wanted to talk about this modding guide created by Synth. I used it as a base as it's easy to follow and included all the core mods for fixing the trilogy and improving it, while staying mostly lore friendly. However, as of September 2024, the author has clearly stated that they are done updating this list. This means newer mods aren't included, and some require files not mentioned by the guide. For example, the guide tells you to install the Unique Moons mod, however now you need to grab this newer file here and make sure it's installed after the Diversification Project mod. So yeah, it's a great guide, but please do your research and don't bother the list author. They're done with it and they've made it clear the list is outdated, so if you follow it, it's up to you to fix. Anyway, let's take a look at mods for Mass Effect 1. We'll start off with one of the newest mods on this list, the Appearance Modification menu, which, simply put, lets you customize the appearance of characters in and out of combat. Before you even start a new playthrough, you can choose from hundreds of outfits already within the game, ranging from casual and comfy to bulky military attire. And once you've completed the introduction, you can change these outfits at any time using new crewmate lockers. And yes, the outfits you select won't affect the armor stats from what you technically have equipped. There's even bonus options to toggle, like hiding helmets during cutscenes and choosing which outfits squadmates wear before you recruit them. Although you can ignore these options if you want to keep things as default. Pairing perfectly with this are the huge amount of new outfit mods on offer, and I'm not even going to attempt to show them off as there's so many and it's all down to personal taste. There's mods like Galactic Arsenal Pack and the N7 Warfare Pack, which import armors from Mass Effect 2 and 3. You can pimp out your crew with the Squadmate Appearance Pack, or you can dress them like the Mandalorian and wear suave turtlenecks. You can check out more outfits on the Nexus page for the Appearance Modification menu to see what tickles your fancy. Moving on, Galaxy map trackers show all your active and undiscovered assignments on the Galaxy map. Eclectic emails adds emails sent by crew throughout the game, similar to what you get in the sequels. And it pairs with a little help from my friends, which adds emails from your squadmates. Replenish Grenades lets you stock up on grenades before going on a mission. The HUD Enhancement mods adds general HUD improvements, like clearer feedback on what you're selecting and 4 more power hotkeys. Saren Stages makes Saren's appearance change over the course of the game, and you have a lot of outfit options to choose from, but the main thing is making him look more indoctrinated as time goes on. Alliance Uniform Consistency makes Alliance personnel wear the outfits from Mass Effect 3, which makes sense as the time between the start of 1 and the end of 3 is only a few years. In a similar vein, the Liara Consistency Mod lets you use Liara's Shadow Broker face or Mass Effect 3 face. Personally, I'd suggest the ME3 face because it just makes the most sense, again because of the short time span. The Pinnacle Station DLC mod is easily one of the largest on this list, adding in the entire Pinnacle Station DLC that never got imported to the Legendary Edition. It's got all the original voice acting, locations, gameplay, and yeah, just the entire DLC. Now on its own, it's one of the less respected DLCs for the trilogy, as it's mainly just a wave-based combat simulation, but the mod does improve it with different combat settings, better lighting, more music, new enemy factions, tons of bug fixes, and much more. Kinda similar to Pinnacle Station, there's Hot Labs Restored, although this is actually restored cut content from the original, rather than a fully finished DLC. Now this is the first mod on this list that I don't actually have installed, and I'll get to why, but as for what the mod adds, it brings in a whole new section of Noveria that never made it into the full game. It's a mix of restoring content hidden in the game files, and piecing it together into a cohesive experience. So this means a new level, cutscenes, dialogue, and more. Now I personally don't use this mod because there's a couple moments where dialogue has no voice acting. It's actually a very small portion of the mod, so it's still worth downloading. I'm just very picky about having a flawless experience. Moving on, the Mako Squadmate Banter mod takes the elevator banter and plays it while riding the Mako.
You Quarians messed up the whole galaxy when you let the Geth break free. Do your people ever talk about it?
Do the Krogan talk about starting a foolish war that resulted in the Turians sterilizing your people?
All the time.
And you can customize how often the banter triggers and whether it repeats. Skip Minigames mod? Well, skips the minigames, so most areas and items locked behind the minigames can be instantly accessed, while still providing the usual XP rewards. Going along with the outfit mods mentioned at the start, casual hubs allow Shepard and crew to wear their casual outfits on the Citadel and Novaria. Same gender romances edits unused dialogue to let Ashley and Caden be romanced no matter which Shepard you play as. Tali and Garrus are still locked to one gender because of limitations, but there are mods that change that in the other two games. Speaking of Tali, the Children of Rannoch mod actually gives her and other Quarians a distinctive face, with the mod also covering ME2 and eventually 3 for better consistency. Now, until we get a look at the in-game Quarian models without a foggy mask, I think any mod giving them a face simply isn't lore-friendly. Like, there is the photo of Tali you can find if you romance her, but even that has been updated over the years. However, this is the most popular face mod due to how high quality it is, and how naturally it blends with the other species designs. So it's up to you how much you value keeping BioWare's original artistic choices. XP Rescale adjusts the amount of XP you earn, so you can actually reach max level by the end of a playthrough, as you usually end just under. Charted Worlds automatically marks planets' points of interest on your map, which I would recommend for a second playthrough rather than a first. Looking at textures, a lot of textures is a huge overhaul covering the entire game, improving many of the textures never updated for Legendary Edition, and improving the lighting quality as a bonus. LEUITM pairs nicely with it, fixing many of the texture bugs and improving details on most faces. And as for Shepard's face, it'll look good with the mods already mentioned, but I used the smoky complexion replacer found on the female MELE Complexions mod page, in case you want the same look. Sol Textures replaces Earth, Jupiter and Neptune with the latest imagery from NASA. Unique Moons updates the moon textures on a number of planets. And this next mod is one that is incredibly impressive, but I don't think I can recommend it to most people just yet. Caleston Restored adds the cut planet of Celestin into the game, and I hope I'm pronouncing that right. It was meant to surround the mission where you find Liara, and offer content similar to Feros and Novaria, but it just never made it to the final release, likely due to time constraints. And yet, a number of pieces of this world are still in the game files, and so this mod works to tape it all back together. As of making this video, the mod offers NPCs to interact with, new areas to explore, and tweaks to Liara's mission that give you a reason to actually go there. But due to the nature of cut content, there's still missing scenes, some voice lines that weren't recorded, and just a variety of bugs. So yeah, it's a mod that's getting updated over time to have more polish and work seamlessly with the base game, but as it stands, it works better as a showpiece of what could have been, rather than something to add to a serious playthrough. Saleon Seem Revised updates Garrus' loyalty mission to feel more unique. Before, his confrontation with Saleon was stilted with the default stiff dialogue animations, but now there's much better movement, accompanied by new camera angles, and options for either Shepard or Garrus to just shoot him. Further improving Garrus' loyalty missions, Dr. Hart Experiments replaces the models of the zombie people on the ship, as before they used to be the same model as the Thorian creepers found on Feros, but now they use a creepy undead texture found in the game files. Remove Feros color filter gets rid of the yellow tint found everywhere on Feros, and this is more down to personal preference. I just think the mod gives it a more natural look. A lot of videos updates every pre-rendered cutscene to 4K 60fps, and this mod is always a must-have as the usual 1080p cutscenes have terrible bitrate that can be incredibly distracting. Oh, and get the ultra-wide version if you have an ultra-wide monitor like me. Another must-have mod is no mouse acceleration, which just makes the mouse feel way more better to use. Vignette Remover gets rid of the darkened corners of the screen. MELLO restores some of the lighting of the original release. Basically, the Legendary Edition updated the lighting with more modding techniques, and so it does look better. However, it means some scenes now look rather flat, or have shadows being cast in a distracting way, as they were never made with the updated lighting in mind. but this mod adjusts many light sources to return to that cinematic feel. The LE1 Definitive Audio Overhaul creates better cohesion across the trilogy by importing sounds from Mass Effect 2 and 3. The majority of this is focused on combat, where weapons, bullets and explosions are updated, and just sound more impactful in general. I've left two of the largest mods for last. The first is the LE1 Community Patch, which is another that is a must download. There's no point in me saying what exactly this mod does because on screen you can see the list of every bug it fixes. It goes well into the hundreds, and yeah, if you want to experience the game in its vanilla state, there's still no reason not to install this mod. And finally there's the big one, LE1 Diversification Project. This mod is a huge lore-friendly overhaul of the entire game, with new NPCs, improved interior and exterior decorations, restored voice lines, and so much more. The perfect place to show this mod off is the Citadel. You'll find more people about, with new outfit varieties, alien skin colours and unique outfits. There's even female Turians, which was simply non-existent before. More shuttles sit docked at the bay, wall decorations line the C-Sec walls, more dancing animations are added to the clubs, and yeah, I could go on and on. And this is just the Citadel changes. Every major quest and location has had the same treatment. Again, I'll be brief because there's hundreds of changes, but like the colonists on Feros all have unique hairstyles and outfits. Numerous cut conversations are restored on Novaria, and Admiral Hackett conversations now appear as a hologram in the Normandy. And honestly, my favourite changes are the newest ones, where the explorable planets all have a unique feel from one another. In the base game, you quickly realise each outpost and crashed debris is all just copy and paste, but now there's so much more variety. Cave lighting and textures all fit the planet's tone. You'll find new crashed shuttles, data pads with lore, unique enemies, and new cutscenes when discovering certain items and locations. With the list of changes you can see here, this mod basically takes this Mass Effect remaster and leans it more towards a Mass Effect remake. The only downside is that the game engine wasn't quite designed to have so many props and NPCs spawned in at once, so there is a notable performance drop that still occurs even if you have the latest and greatest hardware. Now, one way to fix the low FPS and stuttering is by disabling the Origin and Steam in-game overlays, which you should disable anyway, and another way is by installing this DXVK program here. It basically makes the game run through Vulkan rather than DirectX. If you don't know what that means, don't worry. All you do is drag a couple of files into the game folder and you're done. Instant FPS game. However, if you're like me and have a HDR monitor, Vulkan unfortunately disables HDR, which just makes the game have messed up colour grading. So sadly it's not an option for me, and if anyone out there knows of a fix, please let me know, because the stuttering is really annoying at times. It's infrequent enough that I still play with this amazing mod, but yeah, it's a modding downside that plagues the entire trilogy. And there we have it, a plethora of mods to drastically improve your Mass Effect 1 experience. If you have any other mods you recommend, please let me and others know in the comments. And again, yes, I will be covering the entire trilogy. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, I'd really appreciate it if you gave it a like, as it helps spread this video across the internets. And a huge shout out to my Patreon supporters, Shaquille Martin, Mr. Zud, Gorthan, Connor Peterson, John Ratz, Ter Aura, and Christian Howell. I can't thank you enough, because these contributions have kept me going over these harsh winter months, and they allow me to spend my spare time making these videos as professional as possible. I guess I'll use that word. But yeah, thank you so much, and thank you for watching, and farewell everybody.